Well, good afternoon or good evening for some of you. My name is Josh O'Connor. I am a conduct coordinator in student housing, and this is going to be the student housing and orientation presentation for the next 25 minutes.
Hi, my name is Kawami, and I'm an academic coordinator here at UC Davis.
Hi there, my name is Dominic Carlson. I'm a current student here at UC Davis. I'm a fourth-year student, and throughout the week I serve as a peer advisor within the residence halls, and over the summer I serve as an orientation leader.
And we will first start off talking about first-year housing for our first-year students. We do want to point out to you that we have a variety of styles of living at UC Davis. We do guarantee housing for 2 years for first-year students. So this year and next academic year, you could live with us on campus. We do want to point out that 90% of the first-year class do live on campus, it's an amazing experience, so we hope that you will be one of the 90% that will join us. And we also have a variety of different theme floors, and that can be academic to particular activities that would fit your particular needs. And you can go onto our housing website at housing.ucdavis.edu to get some more information about our themed housing and to look at floor plans as well as the layouts of our individual buildings.
And we also have transfer housing. And this year we have guaranteed housing for transfer students for 1 year. There are several different options that students can opt for if in the case they make the selection to live on campus as a transfer student. One of those options are Segundo Residence Hall, which is designed for students who are underneath the age of 24. It's a traditional residence hall with a dining facility and also with some of the other services that we offer in our traditional residence halls. We also offer single occupancy apartments off campus. Most of these apartments are on the bus line to UC Davis, so accessibility is pretty easy. Lots of our students tend to ride bikes to get on campus when they do live off campus. And a lot of these apartments are very nice, and there's lots of different varieties of apartments that students can choose from. Also, for students who live off campus, we have some assistance programs that we offer where we could help students to locate what would be the best living situation for them, and that information can be found at housing.ucdavis.edu. Thank you.
And we want to point out that at this point you can start typing in your questions if you have any questions. We do have a few more. We want to talk about orientation real quick, and then after that we're going to have an open forum for you to ask us anything about housing, the layouts, or any form of questions around orientation as well.
Sure. So regarding the orientation program, once you submit your statement to intent to register, you can then sign up for the orientation program. You would go to orientation.ucdavis.edu to find out more information about the program. So what we have here at Davis is we have a 3-day program for first-year students, and we also have a 1-day program for transfer students. And at these programs, we go over academics on campus. We have students register for their classes by the time they leave here, so that students coming to orientation will leave knowing exactly what they will be taking for the fall quarter. It's a really good program as well because we go over other ways to get involved in Davis, so it's not just an academic focused program, but it's also to give you all the tools you need to have a successful 4 years here at Davis. We also cover placement exams at the orientation programs for the first year students. That would include the chemistry placement exam. We also have the intro to campus resources. So those would be getting involved presentations, talking about the different clubs we have on the campus, different events we have throughout the year. Like I said, we register for classes at the conclusion of each of the programs. Another great factor to go to orientation would be to meet your fellow classmates. And so these would be students that you will be seeing in your classes or around campus, so you can leave orientation knowing at least a few people. And there's also a separate parent and family program so that if your family members would like to attend the orientation program with you, they're more than happy and welcome to do that. So once again, go to orientation.ucdavis.edu for more information.
Okay, and at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the forum. We are getting quite a few questions that are coming in, so we appreciate that. Keep the questions coming. We're going to do our best to answer every single one of them in the time period that we have. One of the first questions that we got is what kind of placement tests do incoming freshmen need? And
yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. So The placement tests that are absolutely required for all students, there's something called the entry-level writing requirement, and so if you've not satisfied it by the time you submit your statement to intend to register, you'll have received a notification to take the analytical writing placement exam, and so that is a test to test you out of that entry-level writing requirement. If you're also interested in math or chemistry or have majors that require those two subjects, you would also need to take those placement exams. So at the orientation program for first-year students is when you would take the chemistry placement exam, and the math placement exam is taken online before you even go to orientation.
Another one of the questions that we're getting a lot about are the different layouts or what are the main differences between Segundo, Tercero, and Quarto. Kwame, do you want to?
Sure. Most of our facilities have pretty much the same amenities. So all of our rooms have furniture, carpet, TV, cable TV, internet connection, and a lot of the buildings are equipped with wireless connection. So all of them also have community kitchens where you're able to go down and fix food in a kitchen-like type of environment. We have lots of layers of security within the building, which includes an on-call system with our staff, and that's for our student staff, our resident assistants. And also most of the doors are secured and locked 24/7. We have lots of other things such as a fire sprinkler system, and also we have laundry facilities in all of the complexes as well. So for the most part, a lot of the facilities are pretty similar with the exception that the geographic location is a little bit different. But most of our facilities are really nice and have a traditional, Segundo and Tercero have a traditional residence hall, whereby Quarto is more of a suite style living.
Another question that we just got are how are roommates matched? And what we want to point out is if you were coming, our recommendation as housing professionals and a student who's lived in the residence halls, if you're coming with a friend from home, we actually recommend that you don't live with that person. And the reason being is you'll be able to expand your friend network if the two of you live separately. Now, if you absolutely direly need to live with each other, that's totally okay, and you can request that on your housing application. Otherwise, what ends up happening is the housing department matches roommates up, and you are placed accordingly. We do want to point out that if you are matched up with someone, please don't go onto the dreaded Facebook and Facebook stalk your person. And the reason we ask that is because we don't want you to judge a book by its cover, okay? If you're looking through and seeing photos or things that may not fit your lifestyle, that doesn't mean that that person might be a good match for you when you actually come and live with them in the residence halls.
I do want to add that we do have a pretty good track record of pairing suite mates and roommates together in situations that end up working really well. We look at some of the criteria and some of the things that are important for students in a living environment, and we do take that criteria into consideration when we're making our roommate assignments. And I have to say that that's worked out pretty well for us. So just to let some people know that we do have a pretty good track record of pairing people together, and it tends to work out well. And of course, if in a case it does not, then students do have the option to talk with a coordinator, and we can start the process of considering having them move to a different space if that's necessary.
We want you to be happy.
And so just to clarify about the facilities, the different areas we have, Tercero, Segundo, and Quarto, all of them, regardless of where you end up living, are extremely nice and extremely new. The new Segundo area has just recently been renovated, so the insides are brand new carpet, all that. So no matter where you get placed, just know that you will have a fantastic time there. And I lived myself in Segundo and loved it to pieces.
So the question came in, how are the food in the dorms? Well, that's a great question. We have a phenomenal dining commons. There's dining commons in each individual area, so there's one in Quarto, one in Segundo, and one in Tercero. It is an all-you-can-eat facility, which means that you buy a block plan meal, and if you look for our meal plans, you can go on to housing.ucdavis.edu and click on dining commons, and all the information will be there. What you can do is you jump on, and when you swipe in, you use your ID to swipe in, and that will take one block meal away from your meal plan. And it's an all-you-can-eat facility, which means when you swipe in for breakfast, as long as you stay for breakfast, you can eat as much as you'd like there. The food, well, Dominic, you are a student. Did you enjoy the food?
Yes, and even actually yesterday, even though I've not been in the residence halls for 4 years, I went for dinner and for the late night program, which is between 9 o'clock at night to, I believe, midnight is when it closes. So we have actually a fourth meal throughout the day, and it's way better than my home cooking at my apartment.
And we want to point out that most of our students that live with us, after their second or third year, if they do move off campus, or if you're a transfer student who is choosing not to live with us, you can still buy a meal plan. So do keep that in mind. And a lot of our students who are second, third, or fourth year students who no longer live on campus still use a meal plan or use a modified meal plan so that they can eat lunch or maybe even dinner, or they take the full meal plan because they don't like to cook, which would be my option if I lived here. So.
And also, too, just to kind of drive home the point, the food is really good. Students tend to really like the intentional effort that our dining facilities puts into ensuring that the food is fresh, that it's warm, that it's good quality, that it's sustainable food, and that there's a good variety. So we've heard a lot of really good things about the quality of food and also to just how the food tastes. So.
We promise you will not go hungry. We'll move off food. One of the questions that just came in is about academic advising and if we have academic advising in the residence halls. And so Kwame, being an academic advisor, will pass that over to you.
Fantastic question. Actually, all of our residential areas are equipped with an academic advising center. And in the academic advising center, there are peers there who can assist you with course selection or to answer any questions that you might possibly have pertaining to classes, the sequence of classes, and things of that sort. Also in our academic advising centers, we also have tutoring that takes place in the evenings. And students tend to really enjoy this convenient option as a place that they can come down and study or get additional assistance in the courses and subjects that's being offered within those facilities. So tends to be a pretty happening area, especially in the evenings, and one that the staff really enjoys having lots of students down and hang out, and also becomes a great study space. So.
We had a question about computers in the residence halls and wireless, or if they need to bring a computer. And Dominic, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So what we like to encourage is that all students bring some sort of laptop or desktop to the to campus. That's partly because it's just how professors have started to teach all their classes. We are very environmentally friendly here on campus, and we don't like to have a lot of paper usage. And so a lot of professors you'll find will be emailing you or posting online your homeworks or your midterm answers after the midterm and your scores, all that type of thing. And so having access to a computer makes your life a whole lot easier. But we do have computer centers in each of the residence hall areas as well as throughout all of campus. And so if you don't have access to a computer at all times, a personal computer, you can certainly use the residence hall computers, which are open, I believe, 24 hours a day, as well as printing.
Yeah, we do. The computer centers in each one of the residence halls are very, very heavily used by our first year and transfer students. Mm-hmm. All right. We had questions about summer session being offered for incoming freshmen. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that. To my knowledge, that they wouldn't be, but you'll have to go ahead and check with the registrar's office for more information about that.
Some contractual for housing, we just want to point out that when you do sign a contract with student housing, you are contracting to live with us for the full academic year. Just like a landlord in the city of Davis or maybe the hometown that you all live in, you know, when you sign a contract, you are signing it for the year, so do keep that in mind. And you are provided a space in the residence halls, either in a first-year residence hall area or in a transfer apartment or area. And we do guarantee, again, housing for our upcoming first-year students for 2 years. Kwame, can you talk a little bit about the themed floor programs?
Absolutely. So we have themed floor programs in all 3 of our residential areas, and there's a variety of different themed programs. Everything that has to do with something that's academic in nature or something that is social in nature. There's a number of programs that we offer. So those programs tend to be very lively and have programs that are put on by the residential staff that are centered around a particular theme. So our theme programs tend to be pretty popular, and students really gravitate to a lot of the activity that's happening there. So if in the case there is a particular area or topic or subject that you are interested in, I would encourage you to go to the housing website and take a look at some of the theme programs that are offered there. And our housing website is housing.ucdavis.edu.
Okay, there's a question about whether first-year students can bring their cars to Davis. And so we have a policy on campus where first-year students living on campus are not allowed to get parking permits. And so the answer would be no, they're not allowed to park on campus being a first-year student. The great news about Davis, though, and hopefully many of you have had a chance to visit, is that we are a bike-friendly town. In fact, people call us the bike capital of America. So everyone bikes here. So as far as having a place to park your bike on campus, within the dorms, around town, it's not going to be a problem at all. We have hundreds and hundreds of open bike spots for you to park your bike, and they are completely safe to do. We encourage you to get a U-lock, which has a metal bottom, straight metal bottom with the lock on top, the U-lock. Those are what we encourage all students to have when you come to Davis with your bike. Anything else about bike safety, just right off the back, top of your head?
We do want you, TAPS, which is Transportation and Parking Services here on campus, register bikes. And so we do encourage all first-year students to register their bike. You know, we also want to point out that there are a couple questions coming in, or what are the benefits of living in the residence halls and versus living off campus? And so we want to point out to you that there is professional staff and student staff availability for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week while you sign a lease with us. Student housing has a very strong focus on making sure that you make that transition from either if you're coming from high school to your first time college experience, or if you're coming from a community college or another college to UC Davis. The quarter system is a very difficult system to get used to if you're not accustomed to that. But if you're coming from high school and then now coming to college, that also is a very large adjustment to you. So we do have professional and student staff to help you with that transition. As Kwame spoke earlier, we do have academic advising centers in each one of our residential areas, but we also provide leadership opportunities in each one of the areas as well. Studies have shown that students who get involved succeed much better than students that don't. So our role in student housing is we want to see you get involved. We want to see something that you're passionate about and making sure that you're moving forward with that, getting connected and feeling connected to the campus, whether that's socially, academically, or professionally.
And one of the other benefits of living on campus is that you really start to develop outstanding friendships with some of the people on your floor, some of the people within your major, or even some people who you come in with as a cohort of students. So living in a residence hall really creates unique opportunities for those types of dynamics to unfold naturally as you are, you know, in the bathrooms together, or if in the case you go to a program together, or if in the case you're taking classes or have study groups together. It's just a real neat built-in system for you to create relationships and friendships with some of the staff and students who are already here on campus, if in the case you live within our residence halls.
And so on every floor on our residence halls, we have what's called a resident advisor. So they are non-first-year students that are there to really be supportive to the first-year students, to really be your go-to person if you have any questions whatsoever. And so there's a question about how do you become a resident advisor after your first year, and how to become an orientation leader if that's also another leadership role that you're interested in. So around January or February of this next year, you'll be seeing applications for these two roles. They both are hired through student housing, so you'll have no problem living in the residence halls, hearing about the online applications, and getting into the applicant pool. So that'll be January or February of 2013.
And so other questions are coming in about housing and how many people live in the room and who cleans the bathrooms. Those are good questions. We offer singles, doubles, and triples. We do want to point out that our singles are limited, but we do have singles that are available. Our most common layout are our doubles, but we do have triples as well. And again, please visit housing.ucdavis.edu for more information about that. Now, who cleans the bathrooms and the hallways? Well, your individual rooms, let's start there. You are responsible for your individual rooms, but we also ask that you also are responsible for cleaning and maintaining your community. So that would be making sure that your hallways, your lounges, and your restrooms are cleaned and kept cleaned by you. However, we have a phenomenal custodial staff and maintenance staff that do go in and make repairs and clean on a daily basis the restrooms and the common areas. And maintenance, if anything breaks in your individual room, you just fill out a work order and that will be taken care of for you as well. And we go into much more details about that, but we hope that you're getting your cleaning skills at home and you bring those with you to college.
All right, we have a couple more minutes. Please, if you have any more questions or want any points of clarification, put those in now so we can get those answered. Where are they?
I see that there was a question about the social life at UC Davis, and I want to say that we have a number of campus-based organizations in which students can get involved in. I believe there's over
500 organizations on campus.
500 organizations on campus, so there's ample opportunity for students to get plugged in to something that feels right, something that they want to stay connected to, in a place where they can build more community and more connections with other members on campus. So there's organizations, there's various programs. Of course, there's lots of programs that happen that's sponsored by the campus, but also some that's sponsored by student housing and our resident assistance staff. So there's lots of opportunity for getting together, for people to learn and interact and dialogue with one another to build community.
So regarding orientation, as I said during the slide, they are 3 days. If you're a first-year student, we have them 3-day block periods throughout the entire summer. Depending on your major, you will be given a range of dates that you can attend orientation. Now, there are some families that are away on vacation or just simply can't make one of those dates that's allocated for their particular college. And if that's the case, we do have a makeup orientation at the end of the summer that you'll want to look into. So once again, go to orientation.ucdavis.edu if you have any questions and want to know exactly what types of days you can go and attend orientation.
There are concerns about if you do not get along with your roommate, what would you do? And again, as Kwame stated, I believe earlier, if for some reason you and your roommate are not getting along, we want to make sure that you are living in a good, healthy environment, and we don't want you to stay miserable. We obviously have RA assistants, which is resident assistants. And those are student staff members who live on the floor with you, there to help you work out your individual issue with your roommate. But if it's not something that you can work out, which happens from time to time, and that's okay, what ends up happening is we put you through a room transfer process, and that's a very simple process that you come down to the student housing office and we find you a better accommodation.
Okay. So there's a question here just about the STEP program. If you know what that stands for, it's for the Educational Opportunity Program. Traditionally, it begins towards the end of August, right after the normal orientation program concludes. And so you'll want to be looking for dates through the Educational Opportunity Program.
And we had a question of what is Aggie Cash?
So Aggie Cash is sort of like a currency in Davis. It's really great because a lot of downtown businesses and on-campus coffee shops, for example, they accept Aggie Cash. So instead of dealing with actual cash or having a debit card or a credit card, you can just get your actual UC Davis ID charge for a given amount of money, and you can just deduct it when you want to go and get a coffee or a donut or whatever you would like. And so personally, I use Aggie Cash all the time. A lot of companies actually offer 10% or 5% discounts if you use Aggie Cash. And so there's an additional benefit right there. When you're signing up for the meal plans for this upcoming year, you have an option to get your meal plan, which are meal swipes, plus some Aggie Cash to use around campus or around the community.
Well, at this point, unfortunately, we have run out of time. We want to emphasize to you, any further questions that you have, please visit us at housing.ucdavis.edu. And if you have orientation questions, please visit us at orientation.ucdavis.edu. We also want to provide you a telephone number. The telephone number is 530-752-1736. And again, I'll give that to you, and that's the main student housing telephone number. That is 530-752-1736. 752-1736. And that number will be able to, if you cannot find anything online, please call us, and we want to make sure that your questions do get answered. So with that said, we are very much looking forward to seeing you in the fall, and we wish you the best of luck with packing. Packing information is also on our website of what to bring and what not to bring, and we will see you in fall.